You are listening to a broadcast of the First Congregational United Church of Christ, Phoenix.
The reading today is from Mark chapter 12, verses 38 through 44. As he taught, he said, "Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes, and to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces, and to have the best seats in the synagogues in places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for the sake of appearance they stay long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation." He sat down opposite the treasury and watched the crowd putting money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums. A poor widow came and put in 2 small coins, which were worth a penny. Then he called his disciples and said to them, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of her property, and has put in everything she had, all she has to live on." Thank you.
Sorry, I left my paper on the wrong side. It's an honest mistake. A long time ago, I had this teacher who saying that she doesn't take what-if questions. It led us so off track. There'd be so many. There's so many. It's like a tunnel. You just go round and you can't find the end of it. But what if no one had ever thought of the light bulb? And we'd still be in a dark age where cows taking down fires, towns burning because cows are taking down the candles that have to use the light. What if we did not break from Britain, or England, or United Kingdom, or however you'd like to say that, then we would be honoring our queen today, not electing a president. If no one ever wanted to touch the stars, then there would not be footprints on the moon. If the church did not help me get the National Youth Event, I'm guessing I would not have had one of the best times of my life. Right here in our church family, I have seen people challenge. If we don't push ourselves or challenge ourselves, then what would have not happened? God has given us a gift to push ourselves and to challenge ourselves, even if it's very hard or it's something you just don't want to do. Right here in our church family, I have seen people who challenge themselves. I got to the church, let's point out, when I got here, I was not looking for a church when I first came here. I was actually trying to go to a Disneyland ice show. But when I saw the acolytes, I was like, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. So when Steve gave me the opportunity, it sounded great. Like fun. I was so happy, but also scared. I didn't know what I was doing. So that went pretty good, I think. Still doing it now. Then I was given the opportunity to train somebody. Well, I mentally knew how to accolade. I physically did not know how to teach anyone. So how can you teach something that you can mentally do but not physically teach one? So that was hard. But I'm proud of that I did it. Then I've also seen even Ethan challenge himself. I was out one Sunday, actually a few Sundays, as you know, I'm in and out and travel all over the summer. And Ethan decided he was going to accolade this week alone. He was like, I'm going to accolade this week alone. So it doesn't matter how old, wise, cunning, brave you are. It matters that you try. It doesn't matter if you fail, fall. just remember, God has your back. So, push yourself. Push yourself all the time.
Yeah, me and Lee kind of like a little tag team action going on. He just tagged me in. So I just want to start off by saying, don't miss breakfast. You regret it later. Feeling it. All right. So my name is Emery. For those of you who don't know, I hope some of you do. I've been in this congregation for about 10 years. Got baptized in it. Did acolytes as well. I remember those days. Moved from Chicago with my dad and my younger sister. Got pretty involved in the youth program here. Eventually became a counselor at the camps, summer camps, which I highly advise you bring some of your children to, and they'll see my smiling face. But when I started attending this church, I attended this church during a very critical time in my life where you start to develop your own values and beliefs, right? So going to this church actually helped me establish those a little bit better, and they kind of represent what this church and the denomination represents. So pretty much what I'm going to speak about is based off of my own experiences and what I believe God wants from me in my life. So hopefully you can find a way to relate it to your story. So the theme this week is Imagine If. And when I think of that, I think of a more positive type phrase, like imagine if, we all band together to stop world hunger or something like that, present and futuristic type phrase. And then another one that you grow up hearing a lot is what if. And I think of those are like more past tense, like what if I never did this, or what if something didn't happen in my life to bring me where I am, And sometimes you usually think of those like negative, like you're happy with where you are, and what if something didn't happen, So it helps. I think those phrases help you realize where you are in your life and where you can go. So if certain things didn't happen a certain way in my life, I would probably be a little bit different. Growing up the early part of my life in Chicago, I grew up around, I had family members and everything who, we played with, we shared stories, things that kids do a lot, get in trouble. That was my favorite one. My dad moved us out here for, why would you think my dad moved us from west side of Chicago? It's a little bit better out here, a little bit better lifestyle that he could provide for us, which, I really thank him for. And I just imagine, that what if he did do that, I have cousins right now who aren't with us and who are currently in prison, the same kids that I grew up with, and we played the same games, So I think God dictated a lot of how my life, unfold. My profession right now, I am an audio engineer and a music producer. And I've been involved in music ever since I was younger. I played like cello and saxophone, and I sang. My dad sings too. I sing a little bit better than him. Of course, he'll say that that's debatable. But ask Greg. No, but my dad's an amazing singer, so I attribute a lot of my gifts from that. And so going to that profession, it was much an act of God. I'll tell you how I got into that profession. I was in high school, didn't have the best grades at times, started looking up towards the junior year and senior year. Messed around a lot, freshman year and sophomore year. I'm sure some of you can relate, probably not. I'll try to make this quick because I know how long it could be with like Steve Wales.
Amen.
You know? Can I get an amen? No, he was. I think me and Lee combined won't reach his shortest one. So how I got into that, I was actually going to school, going to high school, and you know, I picked up a couple bad habits. Sometimes not going to class, and one time I cut class, English class. You don't really need it, but just kidding. You really need English. And then I went to this room in the back of the drama building, where a lot of kids would go when they would ditch class, and I was sitting there, you know, a friend of mine, he was a sophomore at the time, I was a senior in high school. Last semester of my senior year, had no idea what I was going to do, probably go to a community college or something. And he asked me, what are you going to do with your life? Put me on the spot in front of everybody. And I was like, you know, go to community college, get some type of degree. And I asked him what he was going to do. He was a sophomore, I didn't think he was going to have a serious answer. He said, I'm going to go to CRAS. I'm like, what's CRAS? And he said, the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences. And I looked it up on my phone, thank God for 3G at the time. And it was a school for audio engineering and like touch music production mostly, but taught you about the professional side of the music industry and the technical side of it. And I was searching for a school like this since almost freshman year, and I couldn't find one. And like I used Google, and I thought you could find everything on Google, you couldn't. And so I looked it up on my phone. I was sold, and I went home, applied on Thursday, got a call from one of the reps on Saturday, had like this 2-hour-long interview and everything like that. And then he told me to come down and check out the school, but he said I kind of got in. Went and told my dad. I was like, hey, Dad, I'm going to CRAS. He's like, who's paying for you to go to CRAS? he got to cut my dreams there sort of a little bit, you know. But he was really supportive of me going there. And so going to that school, I learned, you know, a great deal about the music industry, and it pretty much guided me to where I am now and where I'm hopefully going to be. And it's weird to think that I cut out on my education and I found that place. You know, like I skipped the class, and I probably never would have found it out. The school's on the other side of it's in Tempe. I live out in the West Valley. You know, it was a nice 45-minute drive every day, but I found the school that, you know, pretty much decided the rest of my life. You know, so I think a lot of what's happened in my life is dictated by God, you know, and then I always think about what if I didn't come here? What if we stayed out in the East Valley? What if we, you know, just a lot of things. So growing up in this church, like I said, helped me shape my values. And I think in like this belief system, like hate isn't an option. Like, some churches say you can't like certain people, or, you know, you can't accept certain people, and like there's no option for that here, you know. So I really that really moved into my personal life a little bit. Like I would deliberately choose not to not like somebody, you know, when other people were so quick to do that. So I would say just, you know, being part of this church saved my life. In a lot of ways, you know, and being part of, you know, I would say God's plan for me. So, yeah. What else was I going to say?
Emery, question. You mentioned your education. Uh-huh. You're already doing something with it for the conference, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I am actually.
There you go.
I didn't know I was going to get my full resume, but John Dorhauer, who I spoke of earlier, and he's Southwest Conference Minister, he does a radio show called Relevance, and it's where politics and religion combined. It's always so interesting. And I just sit there every single week recording it, and then I do and produce the music and everything and do the sound for it. But I just sit there and like listen to people talk like this. I'm like, I never knew people were so, intelligent and they're speaking. Like you watch people on but I thought that was only in Washington. But like people, like Brendan Mahoney, part of our congregation, like I had no idea he was the policy advisor to the mayor of Phoenix. Like that's crazy. Greg Essemacher. He's a funny guy. Apparently, you're a tourist and you like walks on the beach. That was the opening for John. I thought it was very interesting. I learned a lot of things about you. A lot of people like Leanna Rowe, Vernon Meyer, Phil Reller. A lot of those people came out, and I'm pretty sure John will probably be looking for some more people. So if you want a little into the show, I'll let you come in. I think the producer has a lot to say. We're not going to touch that now. But some other things I've done. Phil is part of the Bell Choir. I've recorded there. I think we're probably about to start working on their album. I'm going to do the audio production for that. I went to Chicago for my internship after I left the school, worked at a recording studio. Usually you intern for about like half a year before you even get asked for a job, like if you want to take the job. I got asked in 2 weeks. And at the time I was 18, so I was like the youngest intern ever, and then I got a job. And then, I was actually the youngest kid at my school. Like, I was 17 when I started the school. And there were like 30-year-olds and 50-year-olds who were trying to get back into the audio industry. And I felt like a baby, honestly. But, I always feel like a baby, especially dealing with my dad. It makes me feel very but, so God has dictated a lot of where my life has taken me. So, and I believe that He does that for everybody. And I had like a whole thing where I was going to go into. I kind of like imagine myself being like Steve a little bit, but not really. I couldn't do it. I think I'm closer to myself. I don't know. I can't, can I be like Wally? Can I be like you, Wally? But so I am involved in the youth programs and audio, so you guys know what I do. If you guys have kids, I highly suggest you bring them out to the church events. It's really a positive impact on their life, and I will testify to that every single time. Thank you.